I remember telling you that I was going to have a surprise for you. It had something to do with you looking in your camera and seeing yourself move and seeing a mirror image. I have a book to share with you that I really love. It's called Harvey, the Child Mime. And this is by Lauren Brantz, the author and the illustrator. Let's see what Harvey is doing. We're going too far that time. Let's see. Every morning, Harvey puts on his most favorite striped shirt and his most reddest red hat. This red hat right there. And every morning after breakfast, Harvey plays with his toys while his father reads the paper. Oh my goodness, look, does he have a toy? Look at his father's paper. His father is a man of few words, no words to be exact. Harvey comes from a family of mimes. A mime is somebody that pretends to do things. You don't really have actual items. You look like you're in a box, or you look like you're reading a newspaper or playing with toys, but you're just pretending. When the sun hits the center of the sky and the clock says noon, Harvey makes his way to the docks to do what he does best. And every day, Harvey gets up on his apple box and people crowd around to watch him perform. Mimes are performers. He pretends to be pulling a bus full of rhinos with one single rope. He does look like he's pulling on something. Can you pretend to pull on a rope? Pull. He pretends to be rowing a canoe through a beautiful lagoon, and every day he pretends to be trapped in a box. I wonder how you could pretend to be trapped in a box. On this particular day, during this particular act, he must have been performing the very best invisible box he ever had, because two workers at the dock mistook his box for one of their own and loaded him onto a cargo ship. Look, they're carrying the box that he's in. Is there a box there? There's not. Harvey was roped to the box. At least this boat is roped to the dock, Harvey thought to himself. But it wasn't docked for long. I bet this boat won't go very far, Harvey assured himself. But again, Harvey was wrong. The boat sailed and sailed and sailed very far from the dock, and sailed until it reached what Harvey assumed was a giant cream cake floating out to sea. But upon closer inspection, he realized it was a mountain of pink rock. It swirled and whirled, jutting toward the sky. On the very tippy top sat a sparkling white castle. Ooh, it sounds like Harvey's going to have an adventure. Butlers and maids hustled down the pink pathways. They quickly retrieved all of the boxes on the boat, including the box containing Harvey. Remember his box? But once again, Harvey was wrong. He was swiftly taken to a room with the other boxes to be wrapped. Ooh, he's getting wrapped up. I wonder if he's becoming a gift. The freshly wrapped boxes were piled into a room. The room belonged to Princess Mindy. It was her birthday. Although it was not that exciting, for she throws a party for herself twice a day, every day. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of parties. The maids and butlers shook nervously in the corner, hoping Princess Mindy would be pleased with her presents, although every day, twice a day, she is not. Ooh, maybe she's very spoiled. Let's see. She gets lots of presents but doesn't like them. Ooh, Princess Mindy ravagely ripped the wrapping off the boxes. Carefully curling ribbons went flying through the air. "This puppy's nose is too wet," she cried. "This doll's curls are too curly. This jeweled crown does not have enough jewels," she proclaimed. Frustrated, Princess Mindy grabbed the next box within reach. Someone unwrapped me. They were sure to send me home now, Harvey thought. Do you think she's going to send him home? "I wanted a pony, not a she's throwing a temper tantrum. It doesn't look good when she throws a temper tantrum, does it? Let's see. Startled and confused by the princess' reaction to him, Harvey tried to comfort her, but his attempts were only met with louder screams. Wah! Baffled by the princess's behavior, Harvey knew to get home he would have to take matters into his own hands. He imagined a horse and mounted it, preparing to ride it home. Ooh, she stopped crying. He's pretending to ride a horse. Can you pretend to ride a horse? Princess Mindy's cries came to a halt. She focused her wet eyes on Harvey's invisible horse. I want an invisible horse! Oh, now she wants an invisible horse. Look at all of these people. They're trying to help her. The maids and butlers dashed out of the room to find an invisible horse for the princess. Can you find an invisible horse? Let's see. Harvey knew their search would be to no avail. That means they would not find one, as one cannot buy an invisible horse. Feeling sorry for the princess, who was now splashing and flopping around in puddles of tears, Harvey reached down and pulled her up onto the horse. Oh, he's sharing his horse with her. In that moment, it hit Princess Mindy like a slap of Swiss cheese to the face. To have an invisible horse, she only had to imagine an invisible horse. That's what they are. You pretend, you imagine. So she's going to imagine. Let's see what happens. Harvey and Mindy spent the rest of the day playing pretend in her room. It's a lot of fun to play pretend. They were jellyfish bobbing through the bluest sea. Look at, they're pretending to be jellyfish. I wonder what it would look like if you pretended to be a jellyfish. Maybe you can find someone to help you pretend to be a jellyfish. They went ice skating on a frozen comet soaring through the galaxy. Oh, they're skating on ice in space. I wonder what that would look like. They rode a purple elephant across a tightrope 500 feet high. That would be very scary, riding an elephant on top of a tightrope. It goes way high in the sky. They did the trapeze over the Grand Canyon with ease. Look, they're pretending to fly on a trapeze. A trapeze is way up in the sky too. As the sun began its descent behind the horizon, Princess Mindy knew it was time for any child under the age of 10 to go home, even a child mime. Princess Mindy had never had so much fun, and her piles of presents had remained untouched. It is much more fun to pretend, isn't it? After calling off the search for an invisible horse, Mindy arranged for her royal boat to take Harvey home. Oh, that was very nice of her. Princess Mindy and her staff waved goodbye and shouted thank you from the shore. Her staff was most thankful of all because she wasn't being rude anymore, was she? She wasn't being demanding. I think Harvey helped her a little bit. Back in his own room with his own things, Harvey thought to himself, I wonder what he's thinking. How wonderful it is to have everything he needs right here. Look at all the stuff that he has. Does he need a bunch of fancy things? He does not. He can be a mime and pretend. So sometimes mimes, they pretend, and I want you to find a mirror, just like you had with your iPad. You could see yourself, but I want you to find a mirror and pretend to be in a box. Or pretend to be riding a horse. Or you can have your sister or your dad or your mom stand in front of you or stand with you and pretend. Or you could have them stand in front of you and pretend to do the things that you're doing, anticipate what you're doing. A mime sometimes does that. They look at each other and they know what they're going to do. So if you're going to raise a hand, the person across from you is also going to raise a hand. Like a mirror image. Try that and send me a video. I want to see you being a mime. Bye.